Hey Grace Kids, welcome back to Grace Kids TV. It's so great to see you guys today. In today's story, we're going to learn about how God rescued Peter from prison. Peter had witnessed the pouring of the Holy Spirit on Gentile believers. God made it clear, the gospel is for all because Jesus is Lord of all. Peter returned to Jerusalem and told believers there what had happened. At this time, other believers who had scattered amid persecution were preaching the gospel. By God's grace, people believed and the church grew. Well, before we get to today's story, let's head over to Grace Kids Trivia to see what you remember from last week's story about Jesus' resurrection and how it gives true joy to all believers.
Question 1, true or false? Jesus was arrested and taken to the governor Pilate. And the answer is true. Pilate's soldiers put a purple robe around Jesus, then put a crown of thorns around his head. Question 2, true or false? Jesus was put on a cross with 3 criminals next to him. And the answer is false. This was maybe a tricky one, but there were actually only 2 criminals on crosses next to Jesus while he was on the cross, not 3 criminals. Question 3, true or false? Jesus died and his body was buried in a grave. And the answer is false again. Jesus did die, but his body was placed in a tomb instead of a grave, which was kind of like a cave. And question 4, true or false? After 2 days, Jesus rose from the dead and was alive. And the answer is false again. This was another tricky one, but we do remember that Jesus did rise from the dead and he is alive today. But Jesus did not rise after 2 days. He rose on the 3rd day after he died. And our final question of the day, question 5, true or false? When we trust in Jesus, we have true joy. And the answer is true. Hopefully we all knew this one. Jesus brings forgiveness and life with God forever, and this is the true reason we celebrate Easter.
Hey friends, Megan here, and this is Jessie. Megan, you will never guess what my dog Max did this morning.
What did Max do?
He scared the nice man who delivers our mail. Our mailman was delivering a package to us, so he knocked on our door. Max gets really excited anytime someone knocks. He barks and jumps up and down at the door. The mailman dropped the package on the porch and ran back to his mail truck.
Oh goodness, I hope your mail carrier was okay.
He was. My mom went outside and told him Max was sorry. He thought it was funny.
Okay, well, that's good. In today's Bible story, some believers were in a house praying when someone they weren't expecting knocked on the door. It is an exciting story, so listen up.
King Herod was mean to believers in the church. He hurt some of them, and he put Peter in prison. The king told groups of soldiers to stand guard at the prison so Peter could not escape. While Peter was in prison, other believers in the church prayed and asked God to help him.
One night, Peter was sleeping in the prison. There was a guard on his left and a guard on his right. He was tied up with chains. All of a sudden, an angel appeared and a bright light shone in the prison. The angel woke up Peter. "Quick, get up," the angel said. The chains fell off of Peter's wrists. He put on his shoes and his coat and he followed the angel.
The angel led Peter out of the prison. He walked past the guards. The gate opened for them and they walked out onto the street. Then the angel left. Peter looked around. The Lord had rescued him. Peter hurried to a house where other believers were praying. When Peter knocked at the door, a servant named Rhoda answered. She heard Peter's voice, and she was so happy, she ran back inside without letting Peter in.
Peter is here, she said. He is at the door. No one believed her. You're crazy, they said. But Peter kept knocking, so they opened the door and welcomed him in. Peter told them how the Lord had rescued him from prison.
God heard the prayers of the people. He had a plan for Peter, and he helped him escape from prison. Peter knew he might die because he believed in Jesus, but he wanted to share the good news about Jesus no matter what.
Hey Grace Kids, for our craft this week, you are going to need the printout, a piece of construction paper, and it can be any color, some coloring utensils, glue, and some scissors. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do our craft. Are you ready? First, you're going to color each of the 4 things on the printout. Next, you're going to cut each of the 4 pieces out. Okay, next you're going to take your piece of construction paper and you're going to fold it exactly in half the short ways. Then you're going to open it back up. And you're going to take each of the sides and fold it to that middle crease that you just created. So the left side, and then the right side. And you're going to leave those folded, but then you can open them and you have them inside. So then you're going to take the window, and you're actually going to cut the window right in half. And you're going to glue one side onto each of the flaps. And glue the other side on the right side. And you want to make sure that they line up really good. And it looks like you have the window. And then it's totally up to you. You can paste this sideways, or I'm going to cut mine in half and do the same thing with the title. Put half on one side and then half on the other. Then, when you open it in the middle, you're going to paste the story, which shows Peter on the ground in prison, and then the angel is going to come and save him. your craft is complete. If you want to, you could even draw more of a background and the inside and make it more fancy, but I'm gonna leave mine like this. But you could add some things and make it look really, really cool. I love this craft because it is such a cool way to remember the story of when Peter was in prison and God sent an angel to rescue him and break those chains. We hope that you guys have an awesome week. Thanks so much for watching.